What's up, everybody? This is Matt II here, and this is the first episode of Rift Recap. Today I'm going to be covering everything that Riot announced on their Celebration 10 event, and I'm just gonna go right through it because there's so much to cover. Okay, so first up is Sena. Sena is the next champion that's going to be released into League of Legends, and she is Lucian's long lost wife that has been, or that were captured by Thresh in his lantern. He had stole he stole Sena's soul. This is really a tongue twister. Damn. He has stolen Sena's soul, and she's been in there. And I don't know about you guys, but Lucian came out in 2013 in August, and I don't know if this is if real time is relevant to the lore, but if it is, Sena has been inside this lantern for 6 years, so quite a long time. But the interesting thing about Sena is that she is a supportive marksman, which means that she is going to not be as much of a hyper carry. Well, that's at least what I think, because what we see in the cinematic is she's shooting this shield at Lucian to shield him for any kind of effect, and that is interesting to think, like, is it just damage shield she's going to have in the game? Because there's quite a big difference in giving him a spell shield and giving him a, like, say, 250 damage magic damage shield or some kind of or something in that alley. So it's really interesting to see what her capability is going to be, and because an AD carry, or at least a marksman, is going to be the primary damage dealer for your team. So it's really nice to see this mix up, this role expectation being bent a little bit. Riot is really playing with these role expectations and trying to bend them in another direction, and this time it's been marksman that has been targeted. One other thing that I want to highlight with this release of Sena is that it is for the first time in League of Legends history the lore is going to be progressed. So Lucian is not going to be this absolute mad lad that is going to be searching for his wife anymore, because she has actually been released from the lantern. So I think that some new voice lines for Lucian are warranted, because he should be happy now. He should be relieved. It's not going to be the same as it was in the start, so maybe he also get a visual rework, but I don't want to speculate about that just yet. But he should definitely be also changed a little bit now with the Sena's release. And also lore wise, I was talking about she maybe has been in this lantern for 6 years, so that definitely has affected her in some way. Maybe she's even still controlled by Thresh, because we see this lantern reassemble again and just disappear. So maybe Thresh isn't even that sad about her being released. Maybe this is his way of taking down Lucian, because we can see that she has this green light in her eyes, which begs the question that is she controlled by Thresh, because he has this green glow around him, so she has been affected by it, or is she simply just traumatized by it? Is she still Sena, or what is going to happen, because he doesn't look as happy as Lucian does in the end of the movie? So that is really, really exciting, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the future. So next up is Arcane. Arcane is an animated series that Riot has also announced, and it's going to be a series about, for at least what they have released or announced, it's going to be about Jinx and about Vi. And I don't know if that also means there's going to be other characters, or it's like the first season or the first episode is only going to be revolved around Vi and Jinx. But I don't know what the scope is, but it's going to be exciting for sure. And in this cinematic trailer, we also see this psychopath, and he mentions that power comes to only those who will do anything to get it, or something in that in that ballpark, we see him transform into this monstrosity and he becomes purple, which makes me think that he is Dr. Mundo before he has been transformed. So that is really, really exciting, and it's so great because this is one of the really good avenues for us lore nerds, or at least for me, to really dive into the story of Runeterra. And it's going to be so exciting because we're going to see these really flourishing cities of Zaun and Piltover, where Jinx and Vi are coming from. And I also believe in the start we see this blimp fly over this group of kids into a panoramic view of what I believe is Demacia, and it's such a beautiful scene, and like the pictures are so great, and I just can't wait to see this animated series because we can immerse ourselves in the League of Legends history. And I don't know about you guys, but whenever I play a champion, I love to immerse myself in this champion. And we also see this with our esports personalities as well. Like Caps, he always quoting the champions he's playing. So it's just going to be lovely to have this series, and I can't wait for it to be released. So that is one of the things that has been on the Riot menu. So let's just get on with the next one. So next up is Legends of Runeterra. Riot has made a card game, and it's going to be like a kind of blend of Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone, as far as I could see, because the combat phases were actually quite similar to Magic the Gathering. So we have these phases, like each round there's an attacking phase for one person, and on the other side of the board it's going to be the defense phase. So you also declare your attacks just like you do in Magic the Gathering. So you have some kind of creature, and then you just declare an attack. You can say that you want to attack this specific creature like you can do in Hearthstone. So that is one of the things that makes me think it's a lot like Magic the Gathering, but in my taste that's completely fine with me because I'm a huge Magic the Gathering fan. So that's a really good way to do it. It's really fleshy. We've seen so much with these Legends of Runeterra, and some of the things that we saw in the introduction video was some new mechanics we haven't seen, or as far as I know, I haven't seen before in another card game. And one of the mechanics is level up. We see Braum made into a card, and his level up ability is whenever he survives 10 damage, I think he gets +3 stats. He's a 0-5 character to start with. So if he survives these 10 damage, he suddenly becomes a 3-8, right? Like he can take 4 damage one turn, and then 2 damage in the next turn, and then 4 damage again, and then suddenly he survives 10 damage, and then he starts to level up. So that's one of the mechanics we're going to see in Legends of Runeterra, and it's a really, really cool mechanic. I like that. Next up is Oracle's Eye. That's also a new mechanic, and apparently in Legends of Runeterra you can sneak in spells. Like it has a stack just like they do in Magic the Gathering. So you play a card, let's say I declare I'm going to attack with a creature, my opponent is going to defend with some creature, and then it's my turn again because I can respond to it with spells and so forth and so on and so forth, and then my opponent can sneak in spells I can't see. And apparently we have these spell mana, where we can activate this Oracle's Eye, where we can see what our opponent is going to do, and that way we can anticipate what's going to happen and play differently around that. So that's also a new mechanic that's going to be really, really cool. We're going to have regions. Some of the example there was Ionia, Zaun and Piltover, Shadow Isles, Demacia, Freljord. There's definitely going to be a lot more in the future, but that's what we saw at least in the start. And every region is going to have its own meta, like probably their own mechanics and also their own archetype and stuff like that. So it's really going to be really, really cool. And in terms of this card game, how you acquire the cards, many games are kind of pay to win. Like Hearthstone, it's really hard to acquire the cards you want. Like a lot of, as we see in Hearthstone, like Control Warrior needs a lot of legendaries, and it's just so expensive to get. So you gotta get all of these cards, and the way you do this is by buying packs, and you can't be sure you're going to get the cards you want. by buying these packs. So it's totally pay to win because there's so few quests in this game. But one of the things that we're really advertising in Legends of Runeterra is there's going to be quests, and you can buy this virtual currency, so you can buy cards for your own money. But there's going to be so many quests and mechanics that's going to unlock these cards for you. There's going to be this wild card token that can make you craft a specific card like you have in Magic the Gathering. So there's definitely going to be a lot of opportunities to get the decks you want, and there's going to be quest lines and chests and stuff like that, and you can you're going to be able to select a specific region that you want to get cards from. So if you're looking to get some Shadow Isles card, you want to get that juicy Thresh card, you can pick that region, and then you're gonna get more cards from that region. So that's going to be exciting, and also it's a little bit more positive. I don't know, it's still a card game, and they're definitely going to have a monetization plan that makes you want to buy coins and get it that way. So they still have to get money, so it's not like they're going to give you all the cards for free. But it's still very exciting, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this game. It's going to be released sometime in early 2020, so it's going to be, I really can't wait. And yeah, that's really cool. And now on to the next topic, that is League of Legends Wild Rift. And this is huge news for all you mobile gamers out there, because they're making League of Legends into a mobile game. And I know earlier this year, there had been some leaks of that there will be coming a League of Legends game, but finally it's going to come here, and we've seen some footage. And for what we've seen so far, it looks great. It's totally the same experience in the Summoner's Rift. It looks completely similar to how it is on the computer. And it's going to be a little bit smaller. They were talking about some of these difficulties. It was going to be making it into a mobile game. They had to make it completely from scratch. So there isn't going to be as many champions. I can't remember how many it was, but it's going to be around 20, 30-ish. I remember a number of something like 24, but I can't say for certain. But it looks very, very cool, and I can't wait for it to get here so I can try it out myself on my phone. Also, they've made this visual remaster and collection showcase where you can see all your skins and all your champions, and it's like a really cool showcase because it's a visual remaster, so the champions look a little bit different, and they have a little bit of a different graphics style. So that's really cool, and also something that has to be checked out once it gets here. So the game is going to be in beta later this year, so it means within the next 1 to 2 months we're going to be able to get it in our hands before it's going to be finally released. So that is really, really good for you guys out there that has a long commute at work. If you're living in a big rural urban city, it's going to be really nice for you commuting back and forth to work. But yeah, if you have like 30 minutes to an hour drive to work, to and from work, it's going to be really nice for you, because I've also made sure that the mechanics are a little bit different. So it's going to be, that we're talking about, it's going to be 15 to 20 minutes games. So it's going to be a lot faster to play these games, and it's going to enable a lot more social connection as well. So if you're playing it with your friends or colleagues in your lunch break, it's going to be much easier because it's not going to take up the entire lunch break and not take like 40 minutes or so. But yeah, really looking forward to it, and we're going to see it later this year. At the League 10 celebration event, we also saw some news for TFT. So TFT is in their season 2, and it's an incremental changes that are going to come to TFT, because it is already this huge product that is actually working really well and has a big player base in Asia and America and Europe as well. So they were talking about new champions such as Lux, Annie, and Olaf that is going to come to the game before this season is over. And other than that, they're going to explore a lot more with the skins we have from the game and just the entire universe. So in League of Legends, there's a lot of champions that get skins that deviate from their lore and their background. So as we saw with the new Star Guardian, Saya and Rakan skins, they were more dark, and that's a lot different from the normal Star Guardian skins because they're these heroes slash saviors. So what they're going to do in TFT as well is going to try and mix the expectations up a little bit. We've also already seen this with Jace. Once he transforms as because he is a shapeshifter, he gets a skin on instead of just the normal splash art that Jace has as his standard figure. The huge release for TFT or announcement was it's coming to the mobile. So Riot right now are really trying to take over the mobile gaming industry. So now they've got League of Legends for the mobile, they've got TFT coming up for mobile, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were bringing Legends of Runeterra to the mobile as well. So they have 3 huge products coming to the mobile because it just enables them to get out to so many more people, because a lot of people have smartphones, definitely more than they have computers. So it's not necessarily a certainty that people has a computer that can play League of Legends or can play Legends of Runeterra and all these games. So they're bringing it all to the smartphones. Among this long list of announcement for the celebration event was also the changes for the 2020 season. The preseason is coming up very soon. It's probably going to be in late November and throughout December. So we saw a little bit of a sneak preview to what was going to happen to Summoner's Rift in season 10. And they call these changes Rise of the Elements. So each dragon has its effect on the map visually and also mechanically when you kill those. So wind and water and fire and earth drake are all going to change the map in specific ways. So if you want to see what is going to happen in season 10, I'm going to make a separate video on those changes, and if you want to see them as soon as possible, make sure you're subscribed and has that bell notification on so you get the notification once I've uploaded the video. So making another video on that coming out very soon. Another big release and surprise we saw from the League 10 celebration event was the Project A release they were talking about, and it's a new arena-based shooter that looks a little bit like Overwatch and Team Fortress if you ask me, but it's arena-based shooter where you have roles as well. So each character you take have different abilities and so on. In the video or in the footage they've shown us, we can see some kind of arena-like ability where the person or the character starts hovering and has these blades on them, and then they can just slash through and execute that person. Also, they can take up shadow walls or some kind of dust wall or whatever it is that really enables some macro play and so forth. So it's not just like CSGO where you have these very tactical, heavy, very realistic shooters. It is actually fantasy, and there is some role and diversity to these different characters. So really exciting. It looks super smooth as well. One of the things that we're talking about as well was that they were really trying to combat low ping, or trying to combat high ping with giving low ping and making a new netcode. So they're putting a lot of effort into making this shooting game super smooth and making sure that you have low ping at all times. And so it's a great way to play a game, online shooting games, so you don't get so high ping and low frame rates and all that stuff is going to mess with you or mess with the gameplay. So they're doing a lot of work to combat this these low standard or old school netcodes. So that looks really promising, and I can't wait to see what kind of technical strides they have made in that area once it's released. Sadly, they talked about they weren't going to say anything more in 2019. They were going to talk more about it in 2020, but that's kind of a long time for now, and they didn't even specify if it was going to be in the earlier part of the year or if it's going to be in the late in the fourth quarter of the year and so forth. So I predict it's probably going to be, it's not going to come out anytime before 2021. So but it's still a great announcement, and I can't wait to see what's going to be released on that one as well. One of the things that went a little bit under the radar at the celebration event was something they call Project F, and we didn't see a lot from it. It was just a little bit of footage of a visually remastered Gangplank, or not, sorry, not Gangplank, but Blitzcrank, where he was walking on this aisle, smashing small minions and stuff like that. It had a kind of a Diablo-esque style on itself. It was third person and it was seen from the top, and then you were just only handling Blitzcrank or controlling Blitzcrank, and it looked like there was some kind of story in there, and it was maybe kind of an RPG or something like that. And yeah, like I said, like the Diablo, but I can't say for sure what it was because there wasn't a lot of news on that. But can't wait to see what that is. And yeah, I'm just as I said earlier on in the video, I'm really big lore fan. So seeing more of the Runeterra lore, this entire League of Legends universe being explored more through these smaller games and single character perspective games is going to be really nice and really cool to see what's coming up next. Last but not least is the LoL Esports Manager. This is something that I'm personally super hyped about because I've played a lot of manager games. I've played a lot of FIFA football manager, and you know, not the football, American football manager, but real football, European soccer football. But I've also played some Formula 1 manager and cycling manager and all that stuff, so I can't wait for it to come to the esports League of Legends scene because it's going to be so cool to actually be able to manage your own team and be like Grabs and Coma and all that stuff and trying to immerse yourself in that world. Initially, it's going to come to LPL the first time. Obviously, the biggest fan base to League of Legends esport is in China, so that's where they're going to start. But they're going to expand. I don't know how fast they're going to do that, if they're doing it season by season or how it's going to work. But they told us that it's going to be other leagues that are going to be included later on. And there wasn't a lot of information given about this, but just a few previews and some videos. And it looks really cool. There's a lot of stats, and we can actually manage the real players that are in the LoL esports scene. So it's going to be really cool to be able to buy Doing B and put him on the same team as Rookie and all that stuff, and make maybe a mid lane swap for some of the huge players like they did in G2 with perks and caps. But yeah, that's all stuff you can figure out for yourself once it comes out, and yeah, just super hyped. So can't wait to see what's going on there, and yeah, 2020, it's coming out. Okay guys, this was it for the coverage of the League 10 celebration event. There was just a humongous amount of celebration videos and announcements that we had to catch up on, so I'm really glad we did this. And if you guys like the format, please like and subscribe and just let me know in the comments down below, because I really like to make these coverage videos on what Riot does, because somehow they're pumping out all these games at once, so there's going to be a lot to cover. So if you liked it, please tell me and I'm going to keep it up. So see ya and take care.